So, seeing that it's 1:30, I think I'm going to do a little turning. I have a log still from that Royal Poinciana. So I'm going to mount it as I always do between centers, and let's see how this comes out. Now there's going to be a little bit of spalting on this. I'll keep this towards the top. So I'm going to screw this up, start bringing it up this way, make a tenon over here, shape up the top pretty well to where I want, then flip it over and start undermining. I might do some of this outside turning on the base and get it up to more or less the shape. But I have to rely, no matter what, on making a tenon here, making a tenon on the base, so I can flip it over, and then at the end I can flip it over again and hollow this out. That will be the last step. Have a Reeves drive lathe, which they're nice, nothing wrong with it, but you don't have that very low speed. You have a 700 RPM speed. So please stand out of the way when you turn your lathe on, because at 700 RPM, that's pretty fast for a piece like this. This is 420 RPM right now. So time to go in there and start. Now also, I don't know if this bark, being sitting in here, if it has separated any, so I have to be careful of the possibility of this bark flying off. Now this bark, I don't trust it. I already see that I got separation between the spalting on a couple of spots. So in this case, I'm going to saturate the bark with some thin CA. Now, well, I'm back. It's been a week since I've been in here, and I left this piece to be finished. So without much yakking, let's get right to it and get started on where I left off. The piece, as you can see, is perfectly true. It looks pretty good. So I'm going to focus just a little bit on here. This transition between the bark and the wood has a little bit of an inclusion, as you can see here. So I want to see if I can smooth it up. If it doesn't smooth out, it's not the end of the world. The piece will still be fine. But let's see what I can do with a push cut and see if I can alleviate that. The feathering looks really good, which that's achieved by really not making any cut. Basically, you're just barely touching the thing. So let's get started, and I'm going to continue with my 5/8 bowl gouge. Speed is at 600. Oh, this is fine. 730 RPM. And I think that's all I might have needed to do. Not bad at all. Now, when I did a mushroom out of this wood, the first turning I did, and it was very green, it split all over the place. And this one is not green, and you can see that I'm getting the same stuff going through here. So, like I said before, the problem is not the fact that it's green or not, it's the orientation you decide to turn it at that might pose you some problems. So in this case, definitely an indication that I will probably get some cracking going through here. I got one here, another little one here, and a decent sized one over there. Well, so I'm not working from the back of the piece. I'm going to stop it and flip it over. Flip it over so I can work from the tailstock, which will be a lot easier. Let's get going on this. I changed my tool post, or my tool rest, because that one really can't get in there a little bit tighter. So this offset, which is shop made, helps me get in there a little bit better. But gotta move several levers to get it to the way I want it to be. If you look, I don't know if you can see this, but you can see my tool through the bar. If you look, I don't know if you can see this, but you can see my tool through the bar where I'm already establishing the cut. So this gives me an indication of how far up I need to go. as I'm coming out this way, I'm turning my flute downward. And then hold the blade, hold the handle further back. Don't need to have your hands in there. Hold it further back. And just hold a firm grip, but very lightly. Going there. Now you're going to get a little bit more uncontrollable with the up and down of the tool. Just hold it steady and don't put too much pressure. Nice and easy. Whenever you create, you capture something. Whether if it was accidental, whether if it was just it happened as you were cutting, and you like what you see, that's the time that you explore that a little further and see what it does for the design. So rather than leaving this or taking this out completely, I saw that there and it's like, oh, okay, I like that. Not everything has to be as planned. not bad. The edging looks pretty good over here as well. Just going to sand it more or less to the shape of the bark. Well, as you guys can tell, pouring out there. On this one, I'm going to apply fast drying polyurethane clear satin. I apply it fairly heavy because the wood is very dry and it's going to be soaking this right up. And it will take about 4 coats if I want to, if I really want to make it look really good. And it's a cheap brush, or what they call chip brushes. These sometimes go for 59 cents or so each, so they're kind of disposables. They will last as long as you are using them, but rather than using paint thinner, because that's the only way to wash polyurethane, unless it's a water base. Well, I would need to use paint thinner to clean it up. And the paint thinner costs more than what the brush does. And besides, paint thinner is not that good environmentally. So, really heavy on the outside edge over here, the underside. Number one, because I can't really rub the brush in there, so I'm relying on it just soaking in. Alright, so I've been playing with this back and forth, and you shouldn't play with paint or varnish or anything like that back and forth. You should apply it, let it dry, then apply it again. I kind of get carried away when I'm doing stuff of this sort, and I see a dull spot and right away I go to it, and I really should learn to stop and come back when it's ready. I'll be back in a few minutes. I got this jammed into the chuck on the outside of the expansion element. Nothing special. I cannot go aggressive on this because I could push it all the way through. So very light cuts until I leave just a little nub on the bottom of this, so I can clean it out, sand it, and finish it. Well, not bad. Not a wow factor. The wood is actually the wow factor. The fact that it spalted as much as it has. It's a good sized piece for this type of a bowl. The inside is not bad. It was getting to be, it's spalted, but it's also very punky. So cutting it, you get a lot of pull-ups. Little fibers that just pull out. The cuts, you don't get any ribbons on this. All you get is dust. Like rice pellets. So, anyway, it's another one of my two-power bowls. And it will have a place in a box somewhere inside the house to join the rest of them that kind of just hang around and have no place per se. Next time, next time might be something a little bit better than that. Not from the same wood, because that's coming to its end. And it's not something I'm going to be specifically looking for. If somebody happens to be cutting one down, well, it's like everything else. All the wood that I have is because somebody cut something down near me, and not necessarily because I go out on Craigslist and buy it, or if I, ordering it online. I don't order online. I've been lucky enough that a few of you have sent me some beautiful, beautiful pieces. Some friends have come over and visited me and brought me some beautiful pieces. So, it's always nice to have a beautiful piece, but to turn something beautiful, you don't need to start off with a great piece of wood. You just need to start with a lathe and a piece of wood. And, the uglier the wood is, to start off with, usually the better the piece is. This was nothing ugly about this particular piece, other than the spalting, but this would have looked good. But if it was the white, if it was too white, I probably would put some rings on it, texture, something to make it as interesting. But anyway, it is what it is. It's another nice looking piece to go inside of a box. Nobody will complain about it being in there. See you next time. Thanks for watching. Again, I'm going to say this. Even when I retire, and even when I get a catamaran, and I live aboard a catamaran, and I am sailing the places that I want to go, because the catamaran is to give my wife and I an enjoyment for the rest of our lives. We go tour Bahamas, the Caribbean, go to the Azores, maybe go to Europe, maybe see some of you all the way up to UK. I don't know. It's kind of cold up there, so I hear, and I don't like the cold. So I might do southern Portugal, Spain, and go through there and see where else it brings me. I don't know, because I don't have the experience to say, and I haven't really gotten much into it. The way it's going to work is, once my house sells and I buy a catamaran, I'm going to be moving to the catamaran. While it's at dock, or wherever I have it, I will bring it close to where I am at and do the transition. I'm going to set up the catamaran to where I need it, and I will be videoing that. As a matter of fact, I'll be videoing the actual transaction as I go a little bit more into the catamaran, the purchasing, the searching, so on and so forth, I think. But setting up the shop in the catamaran and then start turning on the catamaran. See how that's going to go. The turnings will be named different, but it will still be, I will still be wood turning. So don't think just because I'm moving aboard and I am sailing that that's the end of my turning career. This is not a career, this is a hobby. Just because you move to something else does not mean you drop your hobbies. I might even do a little bit of painting again. Who knows, it might be a little bit easier to do it on the catamaran, but if you guys want to follow me and enjoy what I do on the side, aside of my what I do right now for work, you know, you follow me and you will see, oh, that sells method of painting. Oh my God, my grandkids can paint better than that, whatever it is. So you might be able to see some of that. You will see some turning, some specific to the area that I'm at, and you might see some actual sailing. Who knows? Maybe a little dolphin show in front of the boat. Maybe a little fishing in between. That will be more for the people who want to follow me on the sailing adventures, and not necessarily all of you who want to follow me on the wood turning adventures. So on the wood turning, I will be posting just the wood turning to this channel that you're watching this right now, but the majority of my video is going to be on the I Dream of Sailing, and that's where the whole thing, and even in there I will show a little bit of the wood turning as well, so people know that that's what I do on the side, that's what I enjoy doing other than sailing. So it will be a treat for everybody. I wish that everybody that's following me now on this channel would move over to the other channel. That way it would probably make life a little bit easier on me, where I could do a sailing channel as a wood turn. You know, so we'll see how that plays out. Anyway, here's a bowl. If I was in a catamaran, I would not be turning something this big, but this would definitely make a nice gift to somebody, an islander, or a leftover from something that I did while I visited that land. And some of them might go to you guys. Now, I'm bad when it comes to shipping. Oh, shipping is such a drag, and shipping from out of sea, overseas especially, is going to be a real dilemma. So I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I will probably be just giving or donating my pieces to good cause. We'll see. Thanks for watching again. We'll see you next week, I hope. It's been kind of hit and miss over here, between sale of the house, between looking for catamarans, between learning catamaran, which I'm watching a lot of videos on that, and work, and you know, and being some in 100 degrees in here. Well, you know, I've been lacking this part of it, not because I have so much that I've lost interest. Depressed, yes, I mentioned depression last time that I was on. Not depressed. When I think of the word depressed, I can understand some of your concerns. People with depression, they suffer from real issues and concerns, and what I was mentioning was not that sort of depression. It was just a disappointment, I think would have been more the word. The fact that I'm selling tools and I don't even have my house sold, and I don't have a place to set up. So, you know, like, that is always discouraging, that sort of stuff. But that's in how I meant. Not depressed. I'm not a depressed person. As a matter of fact, I don't let things bother me. I'm just looking forward to the next step, and I wanted to get here, and it's taken too long. Even if I am still working and I have the catamaran, I have something else to boost me up and get me jump started into a little bit of excitement, and there will be plenty of excitement on that. There will be the excitement of the actual moving, there will be the actual setting it up, there will be the excitement of the first sail, there will be the excitement, the first turning on board. There'll be the excitement. They'll look at this, a catamaran, and it has a darn workshop in there. You know, there's a lot of things for me to be excited to meet, to be looking forward to, and that has not taken place. So that's in the sense that I might have said I, you know, feel a little down, that sort of thing, but not depressed. Depressed is a disease, a sickness, and yeah, I don't suffer that. Suffer a lot of other things, and you know, you can't even say the word anxiety, but there's other terms that would be better suited for what I'm feeling than anything else. Well, thanks again. Enough rambling. See you next time.